Hey guys, this is the Chapter 2, Section 2 video, and this video is going to be on a program called Interactive Ruby, which is a command line interface that allows us to run Ruby code in real time, and we can do testing, and it's just a great learning tool in general. And we're also going to learn some basic commands and just some easy stuff. And you should already have Interactive Ruby installed on your computer if you did the Rails installer in the previous chapter. I can't show you my start menu because I'm on a different monitor here than I'm recording on, but if you go to the bottom left and click your start menu and click on the programs, and you should see a folder called Rails installer, and click on that. I can't find mine. Yeah, Rails installer, and then there's a program called Interactive Ruby. Click on that, and you should see something like this. So this is Interactive Ruby, and don't get scared. I know it's a command line, and some people are scared of that, but it's not that advanced what we're going to be doing. So this, you'll see at the prompt, we have this IRB. That just means Interactive Ruby, and this main, that's just the scope we're working in. You don't have to worry about that right now. And you see these two numbers, this 001 and this 0. Let me just try to explain what this means. So the 001 is easy. That's just a line number. The 0 means that we're on the top layer of our program or script, whatever you want to call it. So if we're on level 0 and then we say we create a class, alright, so if we create a class and then we're working in that class, then that will be one level deep. So we're in the class, we're not at the top level. So if we're creating methods inside that class, they're only in that class on that level. Now if we create a method or a function, whatever you want to call it, in the class, and then we're working in that method, then we'll be at the second level. This will be a 2. So whatever we're doing there will only be it'll only be true in the method that we're working in. So if we get out of it, if we define the method and then leave it, then we'll be back to the 1. If we finish the class and then we exit out of the class, then we'll be back to 0. So I hope that made sense. It's a little hard to explain, but hopefully that made some sense. So the first command that I want to show you is the simplest command. Well, there's actually two of them. There's print, and there's a command called puts. So let's first do a print. So we just want to print a string. Okay, so let's just print. This should just print hello world. Okay, so we'll see it printed it here, and we have this nil. What this nil basically means is that there's no errors, there's no issues, and what you tried to do worked. So that's all nil means. It means nothing really. It means no errors. So nil is a good thing. And then we have another command that's called puts. And you'll see it does the same thing. Now you can see the only difference between print and puts is that puts automatically inserts a new line at the end of the printed text. Okay, so that's why you'll see this is on a separate line than the hello world. The print has it on the same line. So puts is more convenient, but you need to use print if you're going to have different statements that will need to print on the same line. So and you can see this 001, 002, this is our line number, is increasing as we go along. So what else can we do? I don't want to make this too advanced for this section. We can also do math problems. So if we want to do 5 plus 10, and we get 15. And like I was saying before, in the last section, I think it was, whatever you put in is what you get out. So if we do say 7 divided by 3, we get 2. Well, we know it's not 2. It's not a whole number. It's not an integer. It's 2.3. But in order to get 2.3, which is a float, any decimal number is called a float. So in order to get a float back, we need to put a float in. So if we do 7.0 divided by 3.0, we get this 2 point and 100 threes. So you just got to remember whatever you put in is what you get out. Alright, so I'm trying to think of what else we can do here. I guess we'll move to variables. If you have any programming experience whatsoever, then you most likely know what a variable is and what it does. A variable is just a placeholder. It can be anything as long as it's in the proper form. A variable in Ruby, it can't start with anything except a letter. It can't start with an underscore or anything like that. And the only character you can have in a variable is the underscore, but it can't start with an underscore. It's case sensitive. We'll say person with a capital P is different than the person from a lowercase p. They're not the same thing. So let's just show you a simple example. If we say person equals Brad, which is a string, you'll see I have quotes around it, which means it's a string. So if person equals Brad, you'll see it just shows us the value here that we put in that variable. So now if we say print, and when you're printing a variable or doing anything with it, you don't use quotes. Quotes are for the string. They're for strings only. So if you put person here in quotes, it's just going to be taken as person. So we don't want the quotes. So you'll see it did what we wanted to. It printed the person, who is Brad, and we got nil, which means there was no errors or no issues with what we just did. And you can perform calculations on a variable too. So let's say x equals 3. So this just tells us again that it defined it. X is now 3. Okay, and we'll say y is equal to 2. So now we can do x plus y. So this is all very basic stuff, very easy. In the next sections we'll be getting into methods and loops and conditionals and stuff like that. So this is very basic. One other thing I wanted to show you is how we can let us know that what scope we're in. So let's say, we have x, so let's say print x, and it's 3. So if we want to figure out what scope that variable's in, we would do defined and then a question mark and then x. And you can see it's telling us that it's a local variable. Okay, so this would tell us where this variable is, if it's in a class or what, with methods. So it's just a local variable. And I don't really know of a way to clear out variables, to destroy them using this interactive Ruby. But I wanted to show you, you can also start a subshell. You can do that by just typing in. So we can actually, let me just echo this out, print this out. So print x shows us that x is 3. So if we type in IRB, it starts up a subshell, and you can see we were on line 13 here, but now we're on line 1 after we put in the IRB. It's a subshell. Nothing that is up here matters in our subshell. Alright, so now if we try to print x, we get an undefined variable error message. So you can have multiple shells in one, and all we have to do to get out of this is just type exit, and then it brings us back to line 15, and we can then print x, and it's 3. So just wanted to show you that real quick. So next we'll be doing, I believe we'll be doing methods in the next section. So I will see you there.